in a map that they have not won throughout the season and make it look convincing. It's just a whole different ball game once you get here in person.
The shot looked so green in the kickoff clash when we saw them, right? So green. But now they've come so far.
You do not want to miss that tomorrow. I know. Aaron teased it. They talked a little bit on Twitter today. Oh,
New hero?
There's going to be some...
I'm bat chesting out of my mind, brother.
What do you make of this?
The Tracer, so interesting. I mean, if you wanted to play Tracer at moments throughout this series, why even entertain? You know, not having, you know, Prophet's like what? One of the best Tracers
still
of all time. Yep. Why not have him on that hero? But we know how much like damage dealers and you know the amount of damage output really kind of carry in the meta. It's really odd.
It didn't work for SEOUL on Paraiso, right? They tried this with Stalker on Tracer. They get to play from this sort of high ground a little bit. Obviously, it can be quite oppressive trying to play attack into this constant Winston dive, providing Winston's kept alive. One pick can unravel this completely. Look at the speed boost already. Prophet not able to get to the high ground as he would have liked, so he's grounded for the time being. Smurf is able to go up and down and get healed. Prophet wants to try and shoo away Prophet, but finally gets picked off by Fitz early. So that's that high ground advantage now, actually manifesting, and SEOUL find the first pick.
Well, I actually think like Fitz has had a really good series this far. Like he's been able to actually find lots of pickoffs. And you see right there, it just puts a shot right into Finn as it just has not materialized in fight wins. But maybe now with Prophet back on DPS, you know, pestering a little bit more, it'll be a big difference.
Just waiting for Prophet to pull the trigger here, maintaining that 100 charge. An insta-kill on Prophet if he's able to find the head, basically. Doesn't connect there, not how I would have liked to. Striker going down to disrupt the shock. SEOUL doing very, very well. Okay, they're bending but not breaking here. They're able to receive this dive and then jump in, and here's Prophet turning up on the Tracer.
So, you know, you put one of the best players in Overwatch history, you know, on like arguably like his best hero. And even if it's not exactly kind of the meta right now, Tracer still has like niche picks and situations you can play her. I mean, you're bound to see good things. And I think if you just wanted more healing out of Iris, that's something you probably could have just discussed in terms of coaching. Pulse bomb doesn't hit anything.
Prophet low here. No recall available, no blitz for the time being. He's able to get topped up though. Again, SEOUL are able to push back and keep everyone standing. Fitz gets his slide cooldown, he backs away once more now. A lot of space being given, but again, SEOUL not fully committing yet. They have Kitsune rush online now though. Here we go.
Now they can commit. Both teams using the rush. Vindaim's gonna get the beat first.
Prophet going a little bit low here, but he's able to find Fitz first. Prophet gets involved finally. Violent sound barrier's not up yet. He's going to use it straight away though. 4 players still standing for San Francisco. They're giving as good as they get, and they have that car position. Where does Smurf go with this? Right now hoping to pressure Finn down, who can swift step away. SEOUL again trying to regroup for the time being, but Iris under a lot of pressure, and Striker's able to run him down. Vindaim again, always getting involved on the right side of the kill feed, but Striker's going to be a menace inside the building on the left-hand side.
They're going to play really safe. They're going to hide for a second because of this overclock. So this is going to allow some more players for SEOUL Dynasty to make their way back towards the point. You're looking at Smurf and Iris potentially coming
Pulse
back.
Is on board for Prophet. Fitz has already gone down. No, can the Death Blossom make the difference? Striker not able to find any connection on that. The card's getting very close, and it looks like the Dynasty gonna have to give it up.
Yeah, it looked like they thought about maybe going in and fighting that, but why not? Yep.
I brought you a gift!
That doesn't hit. And maybe you actually see them swap here. Like, do you see them go towards that Reaper? Do you want to keep playing? Yeah, so it's going to be the Reaper swap. Is now you're going to have this massive high ground you have to battle over, make it really costly for Coluge to get up there.
Striker getting a proper tickling there from Smurf as he will concede that high ground position he was trying to carve out. A lot of big ultimates online here for San Francisco. Kitsune rush, the first of those. Coluge trying to get in there as SEOUL disengage hastily. They're able to top Coluge up there. He actually turns back himself. So that Kitsune rush basically nullified here. SEOUL are able to avoid it.
Yeah, but it's gotten a ton of progress here for the shock, right? I mean, you give up that ultimate to just basically get the card
Coluge
in a one-fight territory. Primal Rage.
Okay, swift step used there by Iris. He's out of the fight for the time being. Coluge takes a face full of damage and has to give up that high ground again. But it doesn't matter. The Shock are happy to push the card. They are daring the Dynasty to challenge the tier. And Prophet couldn't get away. That's going to hurt. Switching back over to the Reaper. Comes out of Wraith Walk at low health and is just picked off San Francisco. They're on a roll.
And Prophet's playing by the cart, and he has to use the Wraith form to like back up. And Iris and Vindaim are nowhere to be found in terms of like being able to give him healing. And as soon as they see him just wraithing away and there's no Kiriko or Lucio in sight, I mean, that is a free kill.
SEOUL only just now getting those key support ultimates back online. But they've already given up so much of the map. We're inside the Lumerico power plant now. And San Francisco, 3 minutes and 23 still to work with.
And if you're SEOUL, you just can't get desperate, right? You can't just like do a, drop a rush into Sound Barrier and just exchange it for Sound Barrier on the other side. I mean, that is a really nice pick. They've kind of swapped sides of the map, but you can't afford to use double support ult here and then not, win a fight. It's gonna be the rush here from Iris.
Vindaim got a protection Suzu there. Kitsune Rush going to be used. Prophet charging on out. Coluge now having to bubble up here. Surely they don't try and fight this. Coluge now jumps away. Smurf taken out. Hang about. SEOUL maybe overextended a bit here.
They're so split, man. It's the same way that we saw Prophet drop earlier. And look at this. You've used the rush. You've pushed in, and you've gotten absolutely nothing. You end up actually losing the fight. Double support ult on the other side. Death Blossom. I mean, not great.
Here it is, the rush on the high ground very quickly. The Dynasty recognize their cue to leave. So the shot to stake their claim to this high ground now. Tough to retake this if you're SEOUL. You are running out of time.
This ends now.
Overclock from Fitz here. Trying to force Coluge back away. He doesn't have enough time to get towards the Primal, and Fitz now takes pole position. And thumps Violet from across the map.
That's what I mean. I think Fitz is shot really well. Iris with 2.
Oh, yeah, get that man off the bench.
In the feet is this next fight though is one that the shop can win. They've held on to that Death Blossom. You got the Sound Barrier, right? Reaper can just kind of chunk through a lot of that, and you got your Primal Rage.
Well, that time bank has dwindled somewhat. Make no mistake. 1 minute 40 remaining for San Francisco, and there's Sound Barriers up for both sides. The real concern, of course, is Iris's ultimate and Prophet's in combination. The Shock have to attract this to some degree. Coluge goes forward, hoping to force some form of action here. Sound Barrier strike was very, very low there, and Fitz actually gets taken down. Prophet's gonna have to go for it here. No Kitsune Rush in play. That was just a straight Death Blossom. It is able to get rid of Striker though. Both teams down to DPS, and Vindaim's in a compromising position, but Smurf comes to the rescue. Coluge eventually is able to find that kill, and now this Primal Rage is gonna get ugly. Oh no, it's a murder room. Finn can't get away. Violet suffers the same fate.
Actually, 2 sick Primal Rages there. I mean, Coluge ends up getting both supports. Smurf, though, I mean, just insane Primal Rage tech. Even since he's with the Shock, it'll just juggle players inside that small room. Ends up getting both supports with his team. So that's a huge fight win for the SEOUL Dynasty, because like you mentioned, Mitch, they don't have to invest in Kitsune Rush. You can have that for this next fight. And the payload's actually made its way back underneath this bridge. So this has been a really good defensive hold from the SEOUL Dynasty.
The Shock don't really have the tools to force their way out of the high ground now. Last time it was a Kitsune Rush. It's not available to them in this next fight. 24 seconds remain. Shock have to make the play. Disrupt the shot sent to the high ground. It doesn't do anything but furrow the brow of Iris mildly. Now he'll get back in position. It's got to be here. It's got to be now for San Francisco. They're trying to charge ultimates. There's just not enough time for that.
Proper gets really low.
Smurf getting forced back here. Kitsune Rush now. It's go time for SEOUL. Gonna heal up Smurf for the most part, and Shock can't disengage. Coluge gets left out at sea here in San Francisco. Have to make it work with just 4. It doesn't look good, but they have a Kitsune Rush. They're actually able to get the Kiriko ultimate online. Prophet though ready to try and strong arm Striker away from the car. The bubble thrown down by Smurf will give solace to the defenders. Fitz is all over it now, counting for both supports, and the SEOUL Dynasty find a foothold.
And the Shock were rolling there for a bit. They come out with that Tracer defense against SEOUL. It works for a little bit, but not for an extended period of time. They have to go to the Reaper eventually.
3:40 on the clock going into that last phase. That's a huge side back. I too am cheering for my favorite esports team.
Which as well?
Philadelphia Fusion.
Well, I got some bad news for you.
It wasn't a joke. Hey, tough crowd.
Hey, there's a Philly fan right there in the front row.
They are conspicuously absent, of course. Coming first and getting eliminated. Quite the accolade. I can say that.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
You know you're striking wounds when they're booing you.
All right, let's have a look at some of those last moments here. Here's that Kitsune rush that the Dynasty were holding on to.
And Coluge is in such a tough spot. Like, he gets picked off first here, but he needs to be the one that contests. And you're just trying to play for that rush, right? Which, you know, if you have the option, well, I mean, it's obviously not a great option to say, but you're going to have to probably give up one player on the team. And if you have the rush, you're better off giving up the Winston and the Reaper, right? With how effective the Reaper is with inside that rush. So, tough spot for Coluge to be in there, having to play around that corner.
San Francisco now know they've got quite the task ahead of them, trying to keep these increasingly hungry Tigers at bay. Again, they'll have to deal with this pesky low ground disadvantage as attackers here. Very quickly, they look to try and remediate that. Proper went upstairs. Coluge is forced to return home for the time being. Both Winstons doing their job right, using their health pools as resources to gain some space. Fitz is hunting for that first big pick. He's found many of them.
Really slow here getting around this corner. Just kind of keeping that damage. Just trying to keep farming that damage to make sure you have that 100% rail shot. Tries to land one, you know, right over the top there. I mean, that is such a tough angle.
Proper under pressure, slides back. He's done this many times before. It's not a true commitment there from SEOUL. Just testing, seeing what they can draw out of the defenders.
Trying to play for this high ground here. Maybe a little slower coming around.
Striker!
Oh, he gets blown up instantly. I don't think they expected that follow-up to be really, you know, tight around that corner. Maybe a little bit further. They're trying to make a play for some of the supports in the back, but they're able to just burn down Striker. And look at this shot. They hightail. They know they can't contest that cart without the Reaper in play.
This is surgical from the Dynasty. Slow and steady, baiting mistakes out of San Francisco. And look at that. What a clean first point take. 5 minutes to play with.
Yeah, as SEOUL Dynasty is starting to gain some momentum. Praise the game with the lineup they run a majority of the time. You know, now like you kind of look back at those first two maps, like, hey, maybe it was an overreaction. As you know, I think one thing you are seeing though in terms of the stats, Zero is doing way more healing than the other days. That was one of the things you pointed out. Maybe you make that sub, but big double support ult for the SEOUL Dynasty here in this fight. Coluge tries to get to the high ground. His Proper takes a chunk of damage.
He had to wait a couple seconds now. He'll walk up with that jump available. Kitsune rush here from Finn. Sending his troops forward from the rear.
You can kite this if you're SEOUL though.
Yeah, breach Sojourn inside the courthouse of the SEOUL Dynasty. Now armed with the power of justice, they're ready to dish it out. Finn drops first after using that key ultimate out of the sound barrier for SEOUL just to make sure they can clean this up without too many casualties. Oh man, clean it is.
Yeah, this is not a team that the Shock, like if you're the Shock, you want to finish this team out here. Because you feel in a way with like trying to maybe make a little bit of a crazy change. They kind of, I don't want to say gifted you the first two maps, but you know, they really kind of didn't look at their best, where now you start to see SEOUL Dynasty hitting their stride, right? You know, Prophet able to play more with Smurf, be aggressive, you know, put pressure on Coluge, right? I think the one thing you talk about the Shock is like, you know, are their tanks, you know, the ones that can actually help lead them to victory? You put pressure on Coluge, you put pressure on Mikey, it's got to be Prophet kicking things off with the Death Blossom kill. But the way that Fitz is played, you know, the SEOUL Dynasty can find themselves back in this series.
Striker's Death Blossom. Who is even there to see that? Dance practice in private, I suppose, but Proper. Well, that's beautiful. That's 3 from Proper. And you're waiting for that to happen. He has the high ground.
It's so filthy, dude.
And he sat there probing, prodding, waiting for Smurf's Primal Rage to expire. Eventually, he's able to pop off.
I tell you though, I really like what I'm seeing out of the SEOUL Dynasty. Even though you lose this fight, as you know, the Death Blossom gets players a little bit weak, so where you come around the corner, you don't need those fully charged rail shots. But if you're the SEOUL Dynasty, like, you gotta be feeling pretty confident. Like, hey, the fights that we're losing, it's because Proper's killing like 4 or 5 people. Like, I think you kind of gotta live and die by that if you're SEOUL Dynasty. That if he's just gonna kill everybody in the opposing team, like, you know, it's just a GG go again.
Where is Prophet going? I have to wonder. Harrison Fitz already gone down here. San Francisco starting a bit of a spawn camp. Prophet turns up a little bit late to the party, wonders where his teammates have gone. Then he gets sent in the same direction.
Like you mentioned, there was almost 5 minutes on the clock when this first started, and how far the Shocker pushed up. I mean, the Shocker's so right outside the spawn door.
Yeah, it's like Overwatch 2 release day. They're in queue. Play the game right now.
Yeah.
Kitsune Rush on their front doorstep would be quite the prank.
My ultimate is ready.
A toilet papering of their abode, if you will.
Feels like so.
Now here goes Coluge, here goes the Shock, and the Dynasty just explode. They ain't feeling too good, Mr. Stark.
And what's terrible here for Seoul Dynasty is, like, you had a large chunk of time. Uh-oh, payload. It's gonna drag the back a little bit, but are you gonna lose Smurf here, or is he gonna be able to take it out? It looks like, is he gonna get primal? I mean, you almost have to use it.
You're kidding me!
You have to.
Gets back to his team. Soul might be able to put something together here. Sound barrier even used by San Francisco. Soul reciprocators, they probably have to if they want to have a chance of winning here. And Striker gets forced back from the front line. Here comes the Death Blossom. Can they escape it? That's a no. Proper fires back though. Coluge is here with the primal rage here, and Vindaim pasted to the wall. Coluge making him look like a boy band poster on the wall.
Not a Winston player, by the way. Lets him know. I love Coluge, man. Like, just plays such a fire. You can see it on its face. Like, and that is actually a sick play by Smurf, right? They even give Seoul Dynasty the opportunity to make a play out of that. Now you're looking at the overclock, so both Sojourns could decide this.
Time is short, and Fitz is looking to make up for what was lost. Prophet is down already now, a 4 versus 4, and Fitz is looking for a good angle. Finn just won't stand still for long enough, though. They'll contest the card, sure. They need reinforcements, though. Prophet will be running to try and get back into the fray. Prophet will be aware of that. We'll have to turn tail eventually. Here comes the overclock from Prophet. Smurf, low, gonna get away. No! That's 2! The Dynasty now being brought down, and they have one more chance. One more chance to stay alive in the playoffs.
Prophet and Iris are still here within the realms of touching the cart. So we'll see which player
2
it
seconds.
ends up being.
1 second, okay. Prophet gets the touch. We have overtime. Kitsune Rush here for Finn, he lets it go. The Shock race towards glory. Fitz can't get away, cornered. But there's 3 players on the cart. Soul are trying to sneak it over if they can. Striker comes up, he'll provide the contest. Prophet very low, Smurf! Prophet picks him out of the sky! How is Iris gonna survive this? Prophet trying to tickle it here with a Dynasty now. Their legacy, their Dynasty will have to wait. The San Francisco Shock repeat history once more, sending the Tigers home.
Just a really strong showing from the Shock. And I gotta say, you know, although you got great performances from Proper, I thought Coluge was fantastic on the Winston there. And then really a Striker all series long on the Reaper was, you know, might have been the biggest differentiator between these teams.
Across the whole series, having some serious impact. A lot is asked of you as a Reaper player. You are the main source of damage. When that Kitsune Rush comes down, you have to be efficient, you have to be consistent. Striker, all of those things and more.
And I think for the Seoul Dynasty, like, you had a team to compete this year, right? You know, you got Smurf, you know, Prophet and Fit so good throughout the season. You know, just maybe it was like kind of looking at like how you kind of adjusted to Kiriko being in the meta or playing around the new hero.